This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
I'm Alex. It's the Ramble. We go until midnight tonight, God willing. Hello, Bobby Slayton.
That's my introduction. That's let me explain something to you. You know, when I used to come on this show, and the other 40 shows you got fired from, and the other 12 shows you quit, and the other few shows that you got older you forgot you had.
Yeah.
Every time I do a show, you give me this great introduction, which was actually getting kind of boring because it was the same introduction all the time. But not only that, but I would always get all dressed up for your show.
Yeah,
I just
you
worked
would.
out,
You would.
and I said I should put on a shirt with sleeves. And I go, why should I do that when Alex
I
shows
don't
up
know
like
that you-
Beaver Cleaver or Gomer Pyle on leave? You know, you show up like why should I get dressed up for you, for your imaginary viewers and listeners, when you don't even care about them?
Well, at least I'm wearing pants.
How do you know I'm not wearing pants?
I don't know if you're wearing pants.
Alex, it's not like the old days, Alex. I've changed. My pants. Not my underwear yet.
Not your underwear yet.
My pants. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. You want me to give you the big introduction?
No. Because nobody cares.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's
they've
Bobby
tuned out by
Slayton.
now. But what's interesting, I told my girlfriend not to call between 11 and 12 my time because we were doing an interview with. Didn't you just do Alex's show a few weeks ago? I said yes, but he wants me back on again. And she said, well, he must really like you because you're such a good interview that he wants to talk to you more. And I thought, yeah, that's right. And then I realized it's probably not that. It's probably that he can't get anybody else to do the show.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, no, yeah. But you know, I mean, the reason I do these with you is because we're old friends. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, old friend.
And that's why we do it more than like once a year.
Yeah, I like when people say we're old friends, but then if you have somebody to borrow money or you need them to help you move, they're not such a good friend. Well, I'm an old friend. My back hurts, and I'm on Social Security.
Yeah.
And then it becomes that kind of old where I wish I could help you, but I can't. All right. But anyway, but hopefully that day won't come soon. How are you?
Fine, but it's nice that you have acceded or what's the word I'm looking for? I've lost all.
Hasidic? Yeah, I've got Hasidic. I don't need Portuguese. Hasidic? Is that the word?
I thank you for acquiescing to do the program. Finally, I came out with a big word.
Well, I had nothing else to do, really. I told you, my day's not like Groundhog Day where every day is the same. For a guy that's semi-retired like myself, it always seems, and it's probably because I have a house, that there's always something to do, and then I'll find stuff to do. Like I'll go, I'm out of paper clips. Do I really need them today? I better go down to Staples and get some paper clips.
Wait a minute. You go to Staples to buy your paper clips? I just go to Amazon. Oh, I need paper. Okay, paper clips, and they're like 49 cents, and they still ship them to me.
Right. Well, you know what though? I'm looking for an excuse to get out of the house. I'm on Amazon enough, and as much as I
but when you were in the middle of this whole thing, which is still really going on, this pandemic, I found I ordered everything on Amazon.
Me too.
I ordered. I had Instacart, who went to Costco for me. I didn't do any. I didn't leave the house.
Well, the thing is, look, I like going to Costco. I'll go there every couple of weeks because I like going there because I see things I don't realize that I needed or I wanted, and I like to look at the wine selection. I like to look at stuff.
You get to see stuff you didn't know you didn't need.
But sometimes you don't need it, but you want it. Sometimes you want it, you forgot to put it in your cart. Look, I'm on Amazon a lot. What's interesting is that, I try to go to there's one local bookstore left at the bottom of the hill, and occasionally I'll go in there to look at books that, I go, wait, here's a book. Wow, I didn't know Mel Brooks had a new biography out or whatever. And then I look at the price, and I can get it on Amazon, half the price probably, but it's not right. I like to give money. Since I'm there, I give money to my local bookseller.
Very good.
That I will do.
Very good.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah. Now, I like to do that, but at the same time, I realized there was a lot of stuff I didn't realize I could get on Amazon. It finally sunk in, like my girlfriend would get me this shampoo. She said was great for gray hair, and it was available at this beauty supply place a mile away. And then I realized, why did I see if it's on Amazon? Of course it's on Amazon. So, I take advantage of that as much as I can as well.
I feel somewhat guilty about it, because of exactly what you said about the bookstore.
Right.
That it's nice to go to the local store and buy it, but unfortunately they can't compete price wise, and they can't compete with the fact that I'm lazy. Okay.
Right.
And all I have to do on Amazon is go click, and I get my paper clips.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, no, that's fine. But I'm not lazy, and I like to go out and do things. And I jump in my car. I live LA is not a walking town, so.
No.
But I live literally 5 minutes from my dry cleaner, my bank, my 5 grocery stores, my Whole Foods, my bookstore. So it's nice. Usually what I'll do is I just go down to the valley, do everything, and come home and feel like I've done something productive and constructive today. Well, as a matter of fact, when I'm done talking with you, we're having a heat spell, so I got to go to the nursery and replace a few plants. I feel like this is gonna be a big day for me. I'm a gardener now. I plant. I'm a horticulturist.
When I lived in California, as you know, I always had a car, and I would even get in the car to go 3 blocks up to the pharmacy. Right?
That's because you were a lazy fuck. I'm a walker, but the last time my girlfriend and I were in New York, what was amazing to me, that she outwalked me one day. We'd stay in an apartment uptown on the east side. Yeah. And if people know New York, we would walk all the way down to the village, and we'd stop along the way. Oh, it's happy hour for oysters here. And I'd have a list of places I might want to go. Hey, let's stop in here for a beer. Let's have a glass of wine. Let's keep walking. Let's get a pedicure. And we'd walk and walk and walk to the village. We'd walk from the East Village, then over to the West Village, walk back uptown, and cut across again. We basically walk, 10 miles to 15 miles, maybe in a day.
Oh, really?
We really traversed New York City. But there was one day, and I had my new Skechers on. I love my Skechers. She outwalked me. I go, can we just take a break? And it was kind of cool that I have a woman in my life who can one time outwalk me.
Well, here's the point. To begin with, I walk every day. I take about a 1.5 mile to a 2 mile walk every day, just to walk. Okay. But the fact is that when I was in California, had a car everywhere I went. Car. Go up to the mountains, go down to the seashore, drive. Behind the wheel of a car. Now I live in New York. I haven't owned a car since 2004.
Well, let me ask you something. When you lived in San Francisco, and I remember one of the apartments you had in the marina, you were literally a 5 to 10 block walk to Chestnut Street to buy some. You wouldn't even walk to Chestnut Street to go to the movies, go to the drugstore, do anything? No?
Most of the time I would do that just because finding a parking space if I drove there. But wait a minute, the pharmacy did have a parking lot. So, But anyway, the point I'm making here is I haven't had a car since 2004, and whenever I've needed a car, I've rented it. And I haven't rented a car in about 4 years. I have not driven in 4 or 5 years. I don't know if I know how to drive anymore. I just have that fear. If I got behind the wheel of a car, I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't have the skills.
But you know what? You must be getting really old, because driving a car is like the old thing about riding a bicycle. Once you do it, you're not.
I'm sure
swimming.
it is.
You're not going to.
I'm sure it is. But I get a little lightheaded lately, and I'm afraid that I don't have the same control I did. Our old friend Gary Haber, he quit driving because he hit a guy on a bike by accident. It didn't hurt him, but he said after that, I'm through driving, and now his wife drives him everywhere.
You sure it was by accident? Because I'll tell you, right where I live on Mulholland, these asshole bike riders, they hog the lane, and I'm always thinking I would love to swerve and just hit one of these motherfuckers. Not kill them, but, incapacitate them.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But
fuck the bike riders.
Point is, so I have a great fear of that. If I get behind the wheel of a car, I either won't know what to do, or I just don't have the same clarity of thought that I once had. I take a drug every day for my neuropathy that makes me kind of forget stuff, and I'm just afraid that I won't be able to drive, and that's a real fear I have.
Okay, let's get back to me.
Let's get back to you. Let's get back to what was your career. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I have nothing to really talk about since I talked to you last time.
You've really
nothing going up.
You've really quit, haven't you?
Well, it's like that old. I think I said this last time on your show. You can't fire me. I quit. So when I told you this last time, that, and I'm sure I did, because look, if I was making Bill Maher, Bill Burr, Wild Bill Hickok, any Bill, if I was making Leno, if I was making the $100,000 to $200,000, dollars a show, and playing Carnegie Hall and working the Ryman Theater in Nashville, whatever. But I was playing horrible comedy clubs, and my audience is, they're like you and me. They're not going out, or they're dead, or they're not driving. And look, I would never go. But
here's what I don't get. Wait a minute. Listen to me. Here's what I don't get. If I go anywhere in this country and I walk into a comedy club, and there are a bunch of comics there who at least have been around for a while. All right. Yeah. And I say, have you ever heard of Bobby Slayton? They'd suddenly say, oh, best comic ever. He's one of the best that ever existed. So you're
comics would say that, not audience members. They don't know who I am. Well, so it's okay. Because the audience,
they don't know who John Lennon is. Okay.
Believe me, that's been going on for years. When I point to somebody in the audience, I will go back 20 years. Hey, can you name the 4 Beatles? No, they can't. That was before my time. Well, fuck you, you dumb cunt. It was before your time. How about that guy in a dollar bill? He was way before my time. I know who he is. You know? How about that guy with blackface who did the first talking picture? I know who he is, you fucking retard. People don't know anything about the history of this country, And I'm not talking about political stuff. I'm not talking about FDR and the New Deal. I'm talking about just pop culture stuff, which is what comedians talk about. They don't know anything. They don't know the colors of the Civil War, the Confederates and the Blues and the Grays. They know nothing. Mm-hmm. But hey, and there'll be comics talking to them, and I'll watch these opening comics.
But wait a minute, how about? But hold on a second. You walk out on the stage, you make people laugh. You're funny, okay? Right. What does that have to do with age? And especially in your act, your references aren't, couched in old stuff and whatever. It's just you telling jokes about things you see. How does that have an age value?
Well, okay. Well, first of all, it's become very cliched. Hey, the difference between men and women? And I was doing a lot of material. And I was not.
You can't do that anymore. You can't do it anymore.
Yeah. It's almost like, oh, hey, cats and dogs. You know what the difference between cats and dogs? Okay, the most cliched, and it doesn't matter how great of a take you have on that, unless you come up with something brilliant. I mean, Leno in the early days was always great. Everybody did McDonald's joke, and McNuggets, and this, and then Jay had the joke about McDonald's. Jay had the joke about how small airplane bathrooms were. Jay said, okay, done. We're done. Anyway.
Wait a minute. It's not that Jay had it, okay? It was just that Jay had I hate to call it a bully pulpit, but he had a place where if he told a joke and it was the same joke you thought of, forget it, you can't do it ever again.
No, well, that wasn't it. I was just saying that he wrote the best jokes about every thing. And now, every comic has done a joke about having a baby. And, I think I said this on your show last time, smoking pot now. There's a whole generation of comics that never heard Cheech and Chong. They never heard of Bobby Slayton. They never heard of even the great George Carlin. Okay. So they're doing jokes, not that they stole them, but it's all shit that's been done before. And when my wife died, I stopped at men and women jokes and the wife jokes. And then, it's just, I got sick of doing it, basically.
Well, I got tired of doing it. I'm tired of it. You can't do those women jokes anymore.
Well, you can't do them, but I haven't. I haven't been on stage in almost. I haven't been on stage in almost 2 years.
Yeah, but you can't. You can do them, but you'll never work again.
I'm not working now. What do I give a shit? Rat's ass. Yeah. I don't want to do it. And I see all these comics who don't need the money going back to work because they love doing it. I mean, I see Bill Maher, who's making worth a fortune. I love his real time, but at the end of every show, I'm going here next week. I'm going there next week. He's still on the road. Him and Seinfeld and all these guys don't need the money, but obviously they have a great love for doing it.
Yes.
And again, if I was making that kind of money and not staying at a Holiday Inn Express and getting up and doing some morning radio with some waitress driving me, telling me what her lifetime dreams are, stuck in traffic, in Sarasota, Florida, well, fuck this shit, Yeah. So I put away not enough money. I'm still working a little. I'm doing, commercials for my friends at Skechers who I love, and I'm doing an occasional gig, and I got a little stock. And
okay.
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, but I mean,
I'm paying my bills.
By the way, be happy to know that I just online bought my first pair of Skechers.
They're the best shoes ever.
Well, I haven't tried them yet, and I hope the size I got was right and all of that. I ordered the size I get in others. So,
see, there's another thing I can't do online is order shoes. Although with Skechers, I know what size I wear, but things are always different. I like to go to a shoe store or Macy's or whatever, try a pair of whatever, and walk around the store like the old days. You know when they, although you know what, they never did work. You ever try? I'm sure you've done. You're trying a pair of shoes. And they feel great, and as soon as you walk 10 blocks, you go, "Fuck! What was I thinking?" These things suck.
I bet you don't remember this, but when I was a kid, and that was back in the Stone Age,
right?
In a shoe section of your department store or whatever,
the metal thing you're going to talk about. The metal thing.
No, I'm going to talk about the thing you put your feet in, and it shows you a what do you call it? Like an X-ray of your feet.
No.
Yes. The light came on, it was green, it was X-rays. And then you looked through this thing and you got to see the bones in your feet.
Why? Wait. I mean, you're older than me, but how come they never had that when I was a kid? They had that big metal thing
but I
that you put your foot on.
I'm still waiting to get foot cancer, from it.
Right.
But
exactly.
Those were the days where when they had X-rays and it was new and it was scientific. Hey, to put an X-ray machine in the shoe store to look at your feet to see how your bones are in your feet, so they can give you a pair of shoes, was very unusual.
No, I remember just going to. There was a Tom McCann that opened by my house in Westchester, and I wanted to go to Tom McCann because I wanted to see the dog inside the shoe. Because the boy is Buster Brown, and the dog is Tiger's friend.
Well, Buster,
and they don't really live there, but it's fun to play pretend. So
Buster Brown was a cartoon.
Tom McCann, I meant Buster Brown. I said Tom McCann.
Was a comic strip, and he had a dog Tig, and they said look for Buster Brown and his dog Tig in the shoe. So.
Right.
See, I remember all this stuff, folks.
And how did the song go? Does your shoe have it? Come on, you're good with that.
I don't know that.
Dog inside.
I never.
That was a big commercial.
Now, here, I'll show you how we differ in age. Okay, who was the host of that TV show?
That was before my That was before which TV show?
What do you call it? The show that was sponsored by Buster Brown. And I don't want to
first of all, you have to remember something. You grew up on the West Coast. I grew up on the East Coast, so there were regional shows.
Everybody remembers it as Andy Devine being the host of that show.
Okay, Andy Devine. He kind of talked like me if I had throat cancer.
Yeah.
Andy Devine. Okay, well, he had a show, not Super Adventure Theater. That was Claude Kushner.
No,
but I remember watching Andy Devine when I was a kid. It was on a black and white.
Something Andy. But before that,
Andy's World.
Before that, with all the characters like Froggy the Gremlin. Do you remember Froggy the Gremlin?
Yeah, I remember.
And what was the cat's name? Midnight the Cat. All right. But wait a minute. Hold on a second.
4 or 5 years old.
To show you the difference in my age. That show originally on radio and then originally on television was the creation of and starring a guy named Smilin' Ed McConnell. Do you remember him? See?
Absolutely not.
You don't remember, but I do.
But you know what? There's a lot of people I don't remember, but I'm so steeped in nostalgia of pop culture, especially television, movies, and music, that over the years, look, when I grew up in the 60s, I had no idea that, I was a big Rolling Stones fan. So when they did Love in Vain, I didn't know who Robert Johnson was. And of course, I didn't know who half these people were until I saw Buster Poindexter. Right. Oh, that was Arrow from the Caribbean. And so, I never knew who people were, but I've made it a point to educate myself, not to tell anybody about it, just so I knew. When I listened to an old blues song, and I have a great blues collection now, and I'll put on some music. Oh God, I thought the Beatles originally did that. I thought this was some, and you don't realize this, there's so much great music out there.
Right.
I remember you turned me out to Dr. John, the Night Tripper. I never knew who that lunatic was.
Right.
I remember hearing him on you, and then Allison Steele, the Nightbird of WNW, played Dr. John. Who's this guy? And he'd been around for years, and Professor Longhair. So I love all that stuff now. So that guy you just mentioned, McConnell, never heard of him.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
Yeah. But you heard about Andy Devine and his show.
I remember watching
with the same thing. Yeah. Well, what happened was they decided, Smilin' Ed's just not with it anymore. So he still owned the show, but they just got Andy Devine to be the host. So
they should do that for you, because you can still own the Alex Bennett show. Since you can't do it anymore, they should get Andy Devine.
Here's what you're talking about, though. Here's what you're talking about. That audience, you say, would not understand what you're saying. Okay. Right. They would not understand what we're talking about right now. That's why nobody listens to this program.
Alex, I don't even understand what we're talking about. I'm just talking out of my ass. Hope it'll be over so I can jump back in my pool. Okay. No, but that's, it's funny you mention this, because right now I'm reading this incredible book that came out in 2017, Mort Saul's biography, not autobiography, written by a guy named James Curtis. Some people turn me on to it. It's called Last Man Standing. And I'm only on the third or fourth chapter. They haven't even got to the Lenny Bruce part. But they're talking about Enrico, and they're talking about how Mort Saul, do you remember Don Steele? I know in San Francisco, he wrote a column. It wasn't the real Don Steele, the DJ. No. But Don Steele, he wrote a column in the Herb Cain days. Do you remember?
No, I don't.
You remember this guy?
No, okay. I don't.
Well, anyway, they gave Mort Saul a radio show. I think broadcast out of Berkeley once a week, and he had Stan Kenton on. Because Mort Saul was a big jazz fan.
Yeah.
And he would open up for the Stan Kenton group and all these jazz bands in San Francisco. And these were clubs that were long gone before I got there. So him and Mort Saul were talking, and I'm reading this in the book. And after 15 minutes, Stan Kenton said, "Do you think anybody out there understands one word of what we're talking about?" So it was the same thing, that these guys are so immersed in jazz and whatever they were talking about. They didn't give a shit that nobody understood. They were talking about what interested them, is what we're doing. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I just figured, what the hell? I'm 81 years old. I may as well act like it.
Alex, let me explain something to you. When I met you, you're probably 35 or 40. You acted like you were 81 back then.
I was practicing.
You're practicing, and now you kind of grew into it. I was just saying to my girlfriend this morning, my God, I'm 66. I feel so old. She goes, yeah, but you're in the shape of a 50-year-old. I go, well, that's old too.
Yeah, exactly. But
and I see that Charlie Watts just dropped out of the Rolling Stones tour because of he had a little operation. I go, he's 80. It kills me that Mick Jagger's 78 and still is viable.
I used to have a joke about that. I said the Rolling Stones are getting too old. So old that the next tour is going to be called the Steel Walker Tour,
Okay.
Yeah. Because they have a Steel something tour at the time.
Right.
Forget it.
Instead of the Steel Wheels tour, nobody will remember what they were talking about.
I'm just a radio host. I'm not really a comedian. So
I wish I was talking to Andy Devine right now.
If you stick around, you will be. Do you know how he got that voice? In case people don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch some old Roy Rogers movies and stuff like that.
That's right. He was in all the. He was his sidekick. Right.
Yeah. But he was the Western sidekick. But he had this really gravelly voice, and he got that when he was a kid. He fell on a stick, and it went in his mouth, and he kind of fucked up his vocal cords, and that's why for the rest of his life he talked that way. But he got hired because of that voice. People
always ask me what happened to my voice, and I go, I fell on a cock in San Francisco. It was nothing I want to relive.
Well, you had polyps taken out, right?
Yeah, a few times, but if you remember when I would get on stage, I would yell all the time, and then I realized you don't have to yell with every joke, every punchline. You can actually, So I started doing voice exercises, and I don't yell much anymore. Well, but my voice is now permanently callous.
I think at the time I talked to you, and I said that the way in which I learned to use my voice, and I never got polyps, was I was taught if you can't feel it in your chest, then you're not doing it right. In other words, the sound has to come from here. And I think I told you that, but you never listened to me. Because you never listened to me.
I probably couldn't hear back then either.
When I told you to go into aluminum siding, you never listened to me.
I know. And then I saw the movie Tin Men and realized I should have done that.
Yes, exactly.
Remember that movie Tin Men, Danny DeVito?
Yeah.
I read for that for Barry Levinson. It's so funny. Here's what I love about living in L.A. I ran into Barry Levinson. There's a little shopping center right by my house. This a great little shopping center. And Paul Stanley's up there every day drinking coffee. I see Rod Stewart there. I see John Voight. Whoever lives in the neighborhood. George Thorogood, And it's funny because I saw Thorogood in the grocery store the other day, and I said to him, I'm wondering if I should get one bourbon, one beer, or one whiskey, or a beer and 2 shots. I don't know what to get. What would you recommend? You know the song he does? One bourbon, one scotch, one beer.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then I see Paul Stanley all the time, and I always say, who likes to rock and roll all night and drink coffee every day? And he rolls his eyes because every time I see him, I do that joke.
Well,
but anyway,
it's got to be like there are actors who have lines they're famous for, and people must come up to them all the time and say them.
But I saw Barry Levinson in the grocery store, and I haven't seen Barry since 2001 or whenever we did the movie Bandits. And I was that reporter with Bruce Willis and Billy Bob Thornton. So he was online waiting for coffee. And I just rushed up to him and go, I hear the sleepover bandits are out of jail again. I'm doing a big story because I was like a news reporter. And it was just nice. I entertained myself. I'm not sure if anybody else is entertained.
And did he look back at you and go, you're who again?
Yeah. By the way, he's a great guy. He gave me a great part.
Oh,
he made me read like five times. But I read for 10 minutes. And it was such a bad actor.
I think that's one of the biggest parts you've had in movies. In fact,
and it's probably 8 minutes, and probably 7 to 8 minutes.
Maybe probably playing Joey Bishop in the Rat Pack thing may have been.
That might have been 10, 11 minutes. I was throughout the movie, but no more than 30 seconds to a minute.
Well, that's the way Joey Bishop's career was. So,
Yeah. And then, I don't know how to do this with my, I was going to reverse my, and then, wait a second. Let me see if I can do this, okay? Because I'm really bad with reversing. Hold on a second. Well, I got to show you this. Okay. You know what? I'm afraid I'm going to lose you if I fuck with anything. Wait, switch camera. Wait, switch.
There,
okay, wait.
There you
so,
go. See?
So there's I was a Mexican in Wayne's World too.
Right, you were.
Yeah. Okay, let me switch back. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't believe I pulled that off. Yeah. That was yeah. And then wait. Let me show you another one.
As long as he's learned how to use the camera in reverse.
So that was my first TV appearance. That was Sandy Becker.
Yes.
Who was one of the first morning
TV.
He was. One of the coolest.
Here in New York. Yeah.
That's me singing Popeye the Sailor Man on the Sandy Becker show when I was 5. Okay. But anyway, it was so funny that with Wayne's World 2, I went in to read. It was literally maybe a 20 to 30 second scene. Maybe. Yeah. And it was a I was in the credits. The watermelon wrangler. Okay. And I think if you used a black guy to carry watermelons, that would have been too racist. If you used a Mexican to carry, farm worker, that would have been too obvious. So they used me, which is fine.
That's fine. Right.
My big 30 seconds in Wayne's World too. And it took all day to film the fucking scene too, but whatever.
Well, whatever. So
whatever.
So basically, you're not doing the clubs because a lot of your material today would be considered wrong.
That's not why I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because everybody was off for a year, and then when it was time to go back, look, I'm doing a corporate gig for these guys in October in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. That will be almost 2 years that I have been on stage. So in the next month or two, I'm gonna have to go back to the Improv or the great club Flappers.
You're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to work out.
I'm gonna have to do that, and I don't really give a shit if people. I'm gonna be performing for a bunch of guys doing like 40 minutes. It's a very, very tough gig. They're a great receptive audience, but to not work for 2 years and just go back cold, that's going to be tough. So I'm going to have to go back to the club and do some of the old stuff, and I'm going to do the Chinese stuff, and I'm going to do the women's stuff, and, the Me Too movement, which I'm a little tired of already. I
got to bring this to a close. And by the way, stick around after we're through because I want to say goodbye to you. But what I want you to
do... can't say goodbye on the air?
Well, I mean, I want to talk to you after we're through here,
Is there something you want to talk to me about we can't talk about in front of your imaginary viewers?
Yeah, it's a real personal problem. No, anyway, for closing, and since you can't do the material anymore, okay, because it's not woke, all right?
Right.
Tell me the worst woman joke you've ever heard.
The worst woman joke I've ever heard?
Yeah.
I can't remember jokes. I don't know. I can tell you the best one. I mean, it's a classic. You're not going to write a better joke than if, women didn't have a pussy, there'd be a bounty on their heads.
There we go. Boom.
That's the greatest joke. That's one of the greatest jokes I've ever heard.
Yeah, yeah.
Period.
The one I always liked was, why do women have periods? And that's because they deserve it.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of women jokes, you know. And, there's just some great one-liner jokes.
You know what they then go? They go, you tell those kind of jokes because you hate women. No, we tell those kind of jokes because they're funny.
And we hate women.
And we hate
funny
women.
first. Yeah, look, I got a great girlfriend, but she's, women are all lunatics. I've never met one that isn't a lunatic.
Of course.
And, my girlfriend, and she doesn't like me talking about it, will always say the same thing my late wife said. Why are you yelling? I'm not yelling. I'm a Jew. I'm a New Yorker. This is how I talk. And then the last Jerry Seinfeld special, he did that same line. My wife says, or something similar. My wife, how come you yelling at me? Because that's how I talk. I yell. I'm not yelling at you.
Exactly. Hey, listen, we've gone way over what I normally go over with anybody, but you're worth every second of it. Every moment I have savored here, spending with you. Can we do this again? I really love doing it. And then you're going to have to answer to your girlfriend. You just talked to him a month ago,
Yeah.
And then you say, well, we've been best friends for, God, how many years now? Jeez.
I don't even know.
God.
I've known you longer than Andy Devine. Let's leave it at that.
Exactly. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Slayton. He's not playing anywhere. He just came on here because he's a nice guy, and he did this for me.
I'm actually, you know what? In October, I'm actually hosting a show with Gilbert Gottfried. Gilbert has it on his website. Gilbert Gottfried's a dirty comedy, filthy comedy festival or something.
Yeah.
And they asked me if I wanted to be on it. I go, I haven't worked. I'll host it with Thea Vidal and a woman. It's two women, Patty Rosborough and Thea Vidal. I said, I'll host it. So that's going to be my big return to stand-up. I didn't put it on my website because I'm not my show.
And that's really going on the internet, so it's not like exactly stand-up, but Anyway,
what's that?
Is it a thing that's going to be?
No, it's a live show.
Oh, it's a live
hotel in Vegas in October. It's on Gilbert's website, so I'm going to host Gilbert's show. So that's my big return. But I only have to do 10, 15 minutes and host it. So hopefully I'll be in shape by then.
Okay, well, you can always come on here and work out. Okay.
Not to say it's not the same thing. You got to go and do it in the club. Unfortunately,
I know. Bobby Slayton, ladies and gentlemen. Say goodbye, Bobby.
Okay, goodbye, Bobby.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
All right, there's Bobby, and I hope you all enjoyed Bobby Slayton. An old friend, an old friend, goes back, way back when. God, I'm trying to think. The first time I had him, I think, when did I go to San Francisco? I went to San Francisco in, I think, 1980, and I think that's about when I met him. So if you go 80, it's 41 years. 41 years that I have known Bobby Slayton, and he has been my friend. Wow, how time flies when you aren't doing anything. Anyway, we only got one person waiting in the waiting room. And if that's the case, I just may not even go to the citizen panel and just call it quits early tonight. But let me just say a few things. Number one, last night was very disturbing to me. And it was a real problem. And this one guy who I have been, I think, very nice to, and have... When he didn't like being on with all the other people, I put him on Thursday nights all by himself. I kind of accommodated him because I liked his wit and I liked his intelligence. And all of a sudden, over the Cuomo thing, he decides to lash out at me. 2 nights in a row, by the way. 2 nights in a row. But last night, it got to a point where he just hung up after first saying, you're washed up. Well, you're a has-been. That was the line. You're a has-been. And I thought to myself, yeah, I'm a has-been, but that's better than what he is, which is a never was. Of course, I admit that I'm a has-been. But, why does somebody want to hurt me when I've been nothing but nice to them? That's what I don't understand, and that's what was so disappointing to me last night. And It really bothered me. Bothered me a lot. Let me just talk to the two people that are here. I'm getting a little tired of this. Audience gets smaller, citizen panels get smaller. And I always argue that I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit doing this, and then I always keep doing it. And the reason I keep doing it is because of the people that call and the fact that they kind of look forward to doing this and to talking to me and to each other. And now that I don't even have those people, why should I keep doing this? I mean, I'm being very serious about it this time. So unless I start getting better participation here, I'm out of here, But let me just turn on the citizen panel thing, of which there is no one to speak of. There's Jeff. Jeff doesn't talk a lot. And
he's also blocked again, his microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing it on purpose.
And here comes Tony.
He's talking over the plans to steal his next car.
What? Oh, yeah. So unless I start... What was that?
What's that?
Who did that?
Did what?
Who did that? Audio from the show. It wasn't you.
Oh, I turned it off. I had you on Gabnet.
Oh, I see. Okay, fine. Thank you. At least
so Tony thinks that Robert was joking last night.
I wasn't even. Yeah, I thought he was joking in the beginning when he was. I don't want to talk about it because he's not here.
I've gotten a lot of very nice notes from people regarding this. Regarding it, and people saying, that they didn't know what one person wrote. What is this guy, psycho? I mean, it was. I went back and listened to it today with Marjorie, and she couldn't believe what she was hearing. She said, "Why? What did you do?" Can
you see the side text from last night on the when people type on YouTube or whatever?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I mean,
so somebody said this guy makes Alan look like an angel.
You gotta get your wings tonight.
Well, I don't understand it. I mean, I think I've been nothing but accommodating to the guy, encouraging to the guy, and so on. And because we disagree on something, he suddenly becomes. I mean, it was just downright mean.
Like Dr. Jekyll.
Yeah, it was downright mean, and and then to show you how trite he is, I can tell when somebody quits my Facebook page, and all of a sudden I was down to 4,999, and so I went over to his page, and I was not a friend. He defriended me, and I was also one less on subscribers on YouTube. So he went there and detached himself as a subscriber to YouTube, and I thought that was rather trite, I've just been nice to him, and I've been accommodating to him, and I didn't deserve that. So I rushed out and called Bobby Slayton today and said, "You want to do a thing?" So we didn't need him tonight.
That was a good show with Bobby.
Yeah. So that's why Bobby was on. Well, he would have been on anyway, but I was looking for a place to sandwich him in, and all of a sudden an opening appeared.
I'm shocked.
Plus, I haven't heard from Andy in a long time.
Who?
Andy.
Andy.
Who's Andy?
Yeah, the cowboy.
Andy.
Oh, Andy Devine.
Devine.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember Andy. You don't know who Andy Devine is, do you, Tony?
No, who's that?
See, I think he knows all about that kind of stuff, but no, he doesn't. Just look up Andy Devine after the show's
Google
over.
him. I'll do it later. Yeah. I stay up till 3 a.m. watching TV. Yeah, I was shocked. I replayed the show. I was like, wow, this whole Andy Cuomo thing you hit a hot button. I knew you would do it when you posted it up. I was working on comics and I saw you post it up on the Cuomo on the Facebook page and says, "Here comes the shit show." I said,
"What do you mean? here come. Oh,
I was working on comics when you posted that Facebook thing, groping or whatever, and I knew they were going to start going right to it like flies.
Okay,
wait.
Let's watch the words.
Watch the words, but
Yeah, Brian's daughter's on.
Brian,
sorry.
Adrian has found the way to be able to get on the show here, and she pushed all the right buttons, right, Adrian? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
her daddy doesn't know she's on the show.
And
right on.
And there she is. See?
Yeah.
See? And we enjoy having you here, by the way. The only thing is, there's certain things we can't talk about, which is just as well anyway. Where's your? Here comes your daddy.
Okay, get up. Say bye. Say bye.
Bye. Okay. Turn the computer off now.
Okay, and the same to you too. The same to you too.
Bye.
Hello, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, poo-poo.
You know, I don't know when the first time was that he put her on, but she has grown up on this show. I mean, you know, how old was she the first time you put her on, Brian?
I first came on a year and a half ago, so she was 4.
Yeah, and now she's 5.5, I guess.
Yeah, she's getting big.
And she yeah, we've seen her grow up. And wait a minute, I see her. She's
It's like a little ghost.
She's got a great sense of humor, so
she's funny. She's just
It
funny.
would have to be your daughter.
yeah, she better be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Say bye-bye. Say goodnight, Grace.
Anyway, but I got a lot of nice pieces of email today from people who were really bothered by what they saw and heard and were worried that I felt hurt, and I really did feel terrible. I mean, it made me feel really rotten. I was feeling rotten today. But I'll tell you what happened today. I know I'm getting older because you can sucker me now. I get a call, and I pick it up, right? And it's a woman who says, "Hi, this is Medicare calling. We just want to check a few things about your card."
Uh-oh.
Wait a minute. And she starts reading off all the things that are on the card and about me. You know, Bennett Schwarzman, yeah, you live at 1925, blah, 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 blah. On and on and on and on. And she is absolutely... She knows everything about me, and I'm not giving her any information because I don't want to give information. And we get to the point, she says, now what is your ID number on your card? And I said, well, I don't feel comfortable giving that out. She says, well, it starts with, and then she gives the first 4 numbers of what it starts with. So I gave her the rest of it, you know. Whoops. And then she says, okay, well, what we want to do now is we have to turn you over to our shipping department. I'm going, what? So she turned...
No, what you do is call up the Social Security to get a new ID number.
No, I don't need a new ID number. At least they didn't suggest that when I called them.
No, you got to do it now, whether they suggest it or not.
Really?
They don't call you. They don't call you.
No. Well, let me finish the story. Then I'll tell you because I did call Medicare. Okay. So anyway, and this guy comes on and he goes, okay, well, we want to send you something for your arthritis, a brace or something. And I'm going, what?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I don't think so. And he says, well, then your card has just been canceled. I'm going, geez.
Probably played a game.
Well, no, of course it wasn't canceled, but I called Medicare because I was worried about this whole thing. And the woman there said, yeah, she said, we'll put this a notation of this in your account and so on. And, you know, if you go back to come on to Medicare every month and just make sure there's nothing charged to Medicare that you didn't have it done to you, you know, and just keep on top of that. And said that then there's no problem. But you know, I mean, this is.
I'd just change it. I had one of those, and they suggested that they had my card, and I had it changed. I changed it.
Yeah. Is it easy to change?
Yeah, you just call them up and they'll say, "We'll give you a new number," and they send you a new card. But you have to go through all the crap of going through your doctors. I mean, every time you go to the doctor, you got to say, "I got a new card," and the whole bit. But because what they do, they're going to hold on to that card, and then they'll start selling it, and that number will get pushed off to somebody else, and then they may not do anything with it, but some down the line, something will happen to it.
Well, maybe
and just for peace of mind, I changed mine.
Maybe the woman at Medicare didn't suggest I change it.
Yeah, that's what they said to me too, but I said I wanted to change it.
Oh, okay. So if you want
just for my peace of mind.
Well, that's good to know.
Because I didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
I'll be at Medicare age in a couple of years. That's good to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she, she didn't tell me, you got to change your number or anything like that. So I don't think there's much they can do with it, because they can try and charge something to it, but if I say, hey, this particular charge isn't something I did, I don't have to pay for it. And
yeah, but you don't see those for like 60, 90 days down the road.
No, I can go online and I get up. You can get them pretty much. All the ones that were about 5 days ago are on there. I looked.
Yeah, but if you don't know it's there, then they send you that paper.
Yeah, but I think what they were trying to do was they were trying to charge me for something.
Yeah, there's a couple of companies that are out there trying to push devices. And they push, arthritis and back devices and things like that, and that's what they had tried to do to me.
I see. Okay. But they called up and said, we got to check and make sure about your Medicare. And
yeah.
But because I turned them down, the guy says, well, we're canceling your Medicare card.
Yeah.
What? Well, the reason I called Medicare is I just want to make sure it was still in force.
Yeah, it was still in force, but I said as long as they have that number, I think that they have my number. I said I wanted to change it.
Yeah.
So I changed it.
I'll give a call tomorrow and see what another person thinks about it.
Yeah, it's it was just for my peace of mind.
Yeah, I just felt like such a sucker. Oh, and then later on today, I get another call, different guy, another accented guy, same pitch. We're calling from Medicare. And I'm going, okay.
They may have passed it on already.
Yeah. No. It was the same. It was the same identical pitch. We wanted to check out some things on your card. I said, you're phony. What are you saying? I said, you're a phony. He says, well, fuck you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He probably told you, fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. And I went, oh, well, yeah, you must be Medicare, because that's what Medicare does. They tell me all the time to go fuck myself.
Every 30 days in a bill.
I'm just going to assume, there's nothing I'm going to be responsible for, okay? They could charge something to Medicare, but they're the ones committing fraud, and I'm not going to have to pay a penny on it because I didn't do it, so... It's not like a credit card where they could charge something on the credit card. You know what I'm saying?
No, they just make your life hell.
Yeah. Well, if it becomes a problem at all, I will ask Medicare to send me a new card. How long did it take you to get a new card?
Maybe 2 weeks at the most.
Oh, really?
Week.
Well,
it was pretty fast.
Yeah, but suppose you need to go to a doctor and you don't have your new card.
They use your old number and then they just whip it right over to the new number.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's pretty quick.
In other words, I could still use the old number.
Yeah, when it's in transit, they know that it's in being changed.
Yeah. Well, I'll call them tomorrow and just say, hey, do you think maybe it'd be a good idea if I changed it? But I just felt like such a dope, because everything this person was saying, they had my name, my address.
Yeah.
They had the only other thing I gave them was my my doctor's name. And as soon as I gave them the name, she says, yes, he's located at blah 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 blah. His phone number is blah blah blah.
Quick search.
Well, it was so fast that I don't know if I could have searched it that fast, So I really didn't get it very well. it seemed legitimate only in that there was so much information outside of the ID that she had. And she even had the first four numbers of my ID.
But that could be some kind of, standard numbers that they use for location or something like banks do on the credit cards.
Like routing numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Your social security number, the first 3 digits tell you the state you were born in.
Really? What state were you born in?
California.
What's your first 3 numbers?
554.
Well, mine's 573. Mine's 573.
And mine's 560.
Mine's different.
Well, but 554 is not.
It has to do with the state you were born and the year you were born, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, it's based on the state. I don't know if it's based on a year, but it changes. The number changes as they run out of the last, what is it, 7 digits, 8 digits, 6 digits?
yeah. But
Whatever. So they change it.
But and you remember when it used to be the ID number for your Medicare was your Social Security number plus B, I think.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
Then they went into the scrambled numbers,
Yeah.
letters,
Yeah. But
which wasn't too long ago.
Well, I'll give him a call tomorrow and just say, do you think I should change my card?
Social Security is not a real good way to protect anybody anymore. It's so easy to be found.
Yeah.
I get all kinds of calls every day.
Yep.
And my first strategy is I look at the card, and if I know who the name is, then I talk to them. If I don't know the name,
Like,
just delete them.
Yep.
Them to send you pictures of themselves first, Jeff.
Well, she gave me, I think she actually gave me, she said, here's my identification number. If you need to believe me, here's my identification number. And she gave me an identification number. What?
1, 2, 3, 4. Here's my ID number.
But she seemed,
How'd you know my
it
number?
just seemed like she knew, she had my card right in front of her. I mean, that's,
well, you know what you do? You throw them off and say, no, that's not my number. Can you give me the number? And see if they come back with it.
well, she said when I called Medicare, I said, well, I just want you to make sure that my card is still working okay. And she said, yeah, it looks like it is. I said, do you have my number there, my ID number? And she says, I'm not allowed to say that to you.
Exactly. And that's exactly the way that it works, is they don't
Or she didn't have that. She didn't have that information on her computer.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't call you. You have to call them, and then you
Right.
go through the whole security thing.
Right.
Then you go through all that stuff, and it's
Well,
online.
I think it was more that they were trying to sell me something
Yeah, that's what it was.
and use my credit, use my card, my Medicare as
Yeah,
a
to
way
charge
of,
it.
as the way of paying for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did it in a sneaky way. But now, I'm sorry because I didn't buy their stuff. They got rid of my thing altogether. I haven't got my card isn't good anymore, and I don't have a Medicare. But she said, just check your Medicare account every month and just see there are no charges on there that you don't know. Okay, and if there is, please then contact us. Meanwhile, she says, I've made a notification on your chart or whatever it is they have about this call so that they know that your account might be compromised. So.
Yep.
Whatever. I just when is this government going to do something about that?
I'll tell you.
What?
I was filing FCC complaints for months. I'd go onto the FCC site and I'd just cut and paste phone numbers onto that site, and you never hear nothing about
Well,
it.
the thing that gets me about it is, aren't we working our asses off to try and make sure that people like China and Russia can't hack our phone systems and our electrical grids and so on? Well, if they can do that, I think they can do something to stop these calls.
Well, what's even worse is they're now going after. They're using your actual phone number to robocall other people, because I get local people's numbers that show up on my phone, local people that live in town here show up on my phone, and then, you know, I don't answer it, but I'll call it back.
Yeah.
And they answer, and they say, I go, "You just called?" And they said, "No, I didn't call." I said, "Well, your number was on my phone." "No, I didn't call." And then I've had people call me and say, "You just called me a few minutes ago. What did you want?" "No, I didn't call you." Well, robocall used my number to call someone. They use your number to call someone.
The term is that they call it spoofing.
Spoofing, whatever. They use your numbers to call someone.
I've seen
But
it.
your number shows up on their phone.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Well, she tried to tell me.
I've seen my own phone number on my own phone pop up.
This woman tried to tell me, and then the guy tried to tell me I've got arthritis, right? And I said, no, which I do. I have a little bit, but I've never had it in any medical record. Okay. But they were trying to, I think, they said, we're going to send you a brace. And I'm thinking, yeah, they want to use my thing to charge the brace off. And then, get the money, and maybe they would even send the brace, for all I know.
You should, when they tell you it's like a wrist brace, you say, I'm a quadriplegic. I'm sorry, I don't really need one.
Well, I mean, I kept telling this woman, I said, I do not feel comfortable about this. And then she said, well, it says here that you have a cholesterol problem.
Do we?
And you're taking drugs for cholesterol.
Oh, they really cracked your...
No, they didn't crack anything. If you think about it now, right now, I don't think they cracked anything. If I said to,
I agree with Kevin. I think you got to get another number.
If I said to Kevin, or Jeff, okay, Jeff, you're taking medicine for cholesterol, aren't you?
Yeah, sure.
See?
Yeah, but if you're older, that's a good assumption,
It's
right?
a good assumption.
That's
That's
right.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right, and that makes you feel like they know what they're talking about, and they're who you think they are.
Yeah. So I mean,
Who on the panel isn't?
I mean,
taking
I'll give them a call if I have time tomorrow. I had to wait like 10 minutes to talk to them today, so. But I'll just call them. She didn't suggest anything like changing the number or anything like that. So, in fact, Kevin just said that when he talked to them, he said, should I change my card? And they said, no, you don't have to. But who's he on the phone to? I wonder.
We're about to do the garbage Thursday.
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh. Talk louder, Brian. You're going to the gardens Thursday.
I'm on the fucking show. Leave me alone. Oh, sorry.
That's obviously not Adrian. That's not Adrian.
Adrian.
Not Adrian you're talking to.
Priorities.
Yeah.
Stay away from Dad while he's on the show.
No, I was reminding my son it's Thursday, which is garbage day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's good.
I'm on the fucking show. Reminds him of garbage.
Yeah.
Well, does he take the thing out to the curb?
The kids have to empty all the garbages, put them out to the curb, and unless I replace the bags.
Oh,
Stephanie, replace the bags. See.
Oh.
Yeah, I had the same job.
Oh, really?
Taking the trash out.
Yeah. But I'm on Wednesday.
You had no more kids at home. That's why.
That's right.
See,
I'm the only kid left.
In Jeff's neighborhood, you got to be careful. Lock your cars around his house on Wednesday.
Yeah. Now, my other problem in life is that I'm tired again tonight, incredibly tired, because I can't get a full night's sleep. Oh. And the reason I can't get a full night's sleep is they're pointing our building. And I wake up, I like to sleep till 10:30, because I go to bed about 2:30, okay? Right. I go to bed at dental time, 2:30. Anyway,
I gotta remind that for the kids. Hold on.
That's cute. I'm gonna write that one down too.
Adrian will like that one. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden, blah, 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 I'm just, I don't know. They seem to be working my window for the last week. I don't know how many bricks are that bad by my window.
They probably watch the show and they know they're driving you nuts.
And then I get a little relief because they go down one level, but they're still down there going meow, meow. Yeah.
Throw your hot coffee out the window. That'll get them away from it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Brian.
Don't they tell you that they're doing that? I mean, I know you're in court with the landlords, but I mean, doesn't somebody like give you a flyer, say for the next month they're going to be doing this?
Oh, what do you mean the next month? I found out there's
You've been doing this for months.
There's 6 more months of this.
They told you that?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Well, they have to do it. I don't know if they did it since the building was built back in 1900. Okay, because what happens is the mortar between the bricks gets bad, and it has to be cleaned out and new mortar put in. So that's what they're doing. They're remortaring the building. And so they need this noise is them getting the mortar out that's there. So that's it's not a lot of fun. Not a lot of fun. Anyway, what's happening in the news? Anything? I'm so sick of
COVID's picking up.
Yeah,
again.
I'm so sick of hearing about it though.
Yeah.
I mean, now supposedly Moderna says their vaccine is good for 6 months with 93% effectiveness. Okay, but after that they think we probably will have to get a booster.
Well, some of us, like you and I, Alex and Jeff, we all are close to our 6 months.
Well, I'm close to my 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I am too.
Now, the question is, how much does it go down after 6 months? It might go down to 90%.
Right.
We don't know. But they're saying this winter, probably, most people who got the Moderna will have to go and get.
They're saying it's for Pfizer too.
Yeah.
Which is what I got.
I think they just want to sell more juice.
I think you're right.
I mean, if you're Pfizer, you're Moderna, aren't you going?
Well, look at their stocks. Their stocks are going up.
I mean, it's not like Moderna or Pfizer are these, these public service groups. They just wanted to get in there before anybody else. And what's happening with the Johnson & Johnson? It's kind of in England they're making.
I never liked working in that company.
Well, no, but what I'm
wish
saying,
they're doing okay in the stock market now.
I know, but
I have stock in both them and Pfizer.
I don't know why their stock's good, because they just had to pay out billions
on the oxycodone thing, and the baby powder. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we forgot the baby powder.
We
forgot the baby powder. Remember when you were growing up, how Johnson & Johnson was one of those just wonderful names?
My mother used to always throw that at me.
There was no generics.
You would love the company because they had the baby powder. Well, who can hate a company that puts out baby powder? But they didn't know it was made out of babies. But baby powder, and then they made the Band-Aids because when you had an owie, it made it feel better. In fact, I wonder if you get the Johnson & Johnson and then they put the Band-Aid on your arm. Is it a Johnson & Johnson?
I don't know.
Okay.
Why not?
I wasn't asking you. He's just asking in general.
That was observational humor.
But I still think that, our company's taking the variant very seriously, where we have our new Plus product coming out. I hope I can say that. We have our new Plus product coming out to help out with the variant, but I don't know if they're doing anything about vaccines or anything else. They're just treating this like the regular COVID, and I think that it's a lot different. I know there's a lot of people that aren't vaccinated that are going through it, but I still think that since more people aren't vaccinated, it's still going to mutate. And I think people are making adjustments like the vaccine and stuff. They're just treating it like this A product, and as going to B right now, if it goes to C, they're going to be way out of whack, or at least our company, we're trying to keep up with that and trying to make sure we're testing for the right stuff. So
yes,
the thing that scares me is kids right now. The first COVID that went through, call it A or whatever they called it, did not affect younger kids very much. This one, the Delta, has got so many children's hospital reporting in the news that they're like full of really sick kids that are near death. This is such selfish fucking people in this country that couldn't go out and get a shot.
Yeah. They show on CNN tonight, they show the guy in the hospital. Him and his wife, unvaccinated. They both have COVID. One guy's on the respirator, the breather, and he's talked the ventilator. And he's being interviewed by Don Lemon.
Well, he isn't on a ventilator if he can be interviewed.
Yeah, you can't talk when you're on a ventilator.
Well, yeah, he had the thing over his mouth.
Yeah,
oxygen mask, maybe.
And was talking. And, you could barely understand him. But he's just like, I should have taken it. Please, everybody take it. And it's like, why are you interviewing these guys?
I mean,
they're all Republicans, Don. Leave them alone.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Let them die. Who cares? Assholes.
Oh, boy. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hey, good night.
Yeah.
When I just yell at you, say fuck you a couple times, and I'll hang up, and then you'll get mad, and then.
Well, no, you have to finish up by saying.
You're a has-been.
You're a has-been.
I have to call him a Republican too.
Oh, you know what? Phil, I was talking to Phil, Alex. You know what he thought he called you when he hung up? Phil told me a horse's ass. Phil said to me.
Oh, that my grandfather used to love saying that. You're a horse's ass.
He might have called me something like that. I forget, but he told me to go fuck myself several times.
Yeah, he did. I'm still in shock over that. It was all like Cuomo. You don't think Cuomo hit on him, do you?
What?
You don't think Cuomo hit on Robert, do you? Maybe that's why he's all annoyed.
Or maybe
he might have been
that.
Alex, what's the finger thing again? What did you say? I don't want to make a joke, but I like how you described it.
What?
Remember the finger with Cuomo?
The finger with Cuomo.
The finger with Cuomo. You did like a line you were saying. Remember the line with his finger with the state trooper? Remember?
Oh, where he down the back of the state trooper.
I mean, I don't want to.
Robert's just jealous that it wasn't him.
Look, anybody who wants to call it creepy behavior is perfectly right in assuming that it's creepy behavior.
It is, yeah.
But it's not. I mean, come on. Okay, so now they want to charge him, perhaps with crimes. Okay.
What's the crime?
Now I want to be there. I want to be there when the judge says, "All right, what's he being charged with?" Running his finger down a woman's spine.
Lock him up!
Wow.
We can't put murderers away. They're going to put him on a crime.
But what I heard is most of these crimes they could charge him with are all misdemeanors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he didn't really.
So
why if they're going to charge him, then they ought to charge Gates.
Oh, well,
because he ran his finger in a lot of other places with children.
Here's something I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Republicans versus the Democrats. Okay? Yeah. The Democrats are really assholes. Okay? Because when one of their kind gets accused of something like Cuomo has, do they defend him? No. No, they all pile on him. Right?
The Republicans.
Now I don't care. Listen, I understand the guy is not well loved, and when you see people pile on people, it's certainly because people do not think kindly of them. All right, but the Republicans would never do that. I mean, look at how they've defended Trump, and this man is perhaps guilty of sedition.
Absolutely.
All right. And Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is still on all those committees.
He's still a congressperson.
The Democrats, on the other hand, the minute something like this happens, they all have to be politically correct, and they automatically they don't go, well, let's see if he wants to say he's sorry. If you've seen the error of his ways or whatever. But no, immediately Kirsten Gillibrand, he's got to quit. He's got to leave. And
I hope somebody votes her out of office.
Well, I mean, it as I said last night, it's enough to make me become a Republican because the Democrats, am I wrong, are pussies.
I agree.
I'm not saying they had to defend Cuomo. No. They just shouldn't have jumped on him.
Oh, right.
And let's face it, they had a group of people who looked at this situation, and they decided that perhaps he did some improprieties, but he's not been found guilty of anything. You're asking him to leave office?
You think the Democrats are doing this because the 2022 elections are coming up?
I think they're doing it because they're pussies and they're whores just like the Republicans are. But they're their own brand of whore.
They're all politicians,
Okay.
so yeah, that's
You know.
thieves, liars, losers, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
Hey, Alex, here's a question. I was too small when Ted Kennedy ran the car into the water.
Yeah.
Did they defend him on that? Because he just got up and said he didn't know that. What?
no.
So they were going to get rid of him back then too. And you figure, geez.
I don't even know if there was an investigation.
I was going to say, like, what happened? The guy
His
went
father
off,
talked
left.
to the police and it was done.
Well, the story that I've kind of heard of what really happened at Chappaquiddick, in which a woman drowned in Ted Kennedy's car when it went off the Chappaquiddick Bridge, and then he swam to shore.
And left on the
Yeah, and I don't think he called the police till the next morning or whatever. But the story goes that what might have really happened is that she kind of got drunk and climbed into the back seat of his car and passed
I
out.
was trying to give him head when he lost
wait a
control.
minute. Let me finish. Okay, let's not go for the salacious, Alan. Let's stick with the story as they say it probably happened, and that she was passed out in the back of the car. And when it went off the bridge, the reason he didn't try to get her out is he didn't know she was there.
Oh, okay. That explains.
That's the kind of this explanation I've heard on a lot of occasions. Now,
I've
whether
heard that
that's
for
true or
42
not,
years.
I have no idea. You know. But if he just simply had a drunk woman in the back of his car, he would be out of office immediately. Be asked to quit the Senate by Kirsten Gillibrand. You know, and that's what
You got a young-looking daughter there, Kevin.
What's that?
Said you got a young-looking daughter there. What, you about 30?
Yeah. Yeah. He rubs my back.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, but so I mean, I just think that the Democrats need to get their crap together and quit piling on each other and wait for the evidence to come out. Let people hold trials or whatever need to be done, like impeachments or whatever, and then ask him to leave. But prior to that, you just say, well, we're going to wait and see, what happens here. And let's face it, let's be honest about it. The woman who was the Attorney General, this Letitia, whatever her name is, she is planning on running for governor.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. And this guy, Kim, I can't remember the story on Kim, but there was some kind of something that happened when he was either running for office or something, where he was yelling and screaming and there was this kind of fighting. He's not reputable. Not particularly reputable.
So this is not Andrew Yang that you're thinking
No,
of,
no.
right?
This is June Kim, I think is his name. Yeah. And, so I don't know that this was a totally impartial panel. I think, however, that Cuomo caused the matter of his demise by saying that he wanted the Attorney General to look into this. And then now that it's been looked into, he's not happy with the results. And if he wants to say that, people have ulterior motives to find him guilty, I would go along with that, But nevertheless, I think until there is some kind of formality of legal formalities or whatever that have happened, nobody should be asking him to leave office. He should stay in office until it's proven that he did not do well by his oath of office, okay, and that he should be impeached, for instance.
There are certainly more Democrats asking him to leave office than Republicans right now.
Well, yes,
That's
absolutely.
exactly your point.
Yeah, and they're all lining up to try and save their own asses.
Yeah,
They're-
but the one thing you kind of pass, and you shouldn't,
Yeah.
women have a different attitude today as they did maybe 5 years ago,
Right.
10 years ago.
Right. And I agree with you on that.
And you got to respond to that.
No, I have no quarrel with that. I do have
and
quarrel.
not only do they have attitudes, they want to change the world.
I do have a problem where women are reacting to mores which exist today but didn't exist when the particular event took place. You know, it's like, hey, you know, we guys wanted the memo on this one, and we didn't get the memo on it. Sure. You know, and I mean, I never worry about my behavior because I think my behavior most of my life has been admirable, okay, and fine and decent, all right? But because no matter how horny I was, no matter how gorgeous a woman was, I would never throw myself on her unless she wanted me to, because I didn't want anybody that didn't want me, all right? But the point of the fact is that we didn't get the memo. I mean, there are some things I may have done that today they would kind of question, you know. Like I actually came onto a woman, but who didn't? You know, we did those things. But it's a question of how do you come onto a woman? Do you make her feel uncomfortable about it, or are you just very much a gentleman about it? And if she turns you down, you go, well, okay, fine, you know. But I don't know. I'm funny about all of this. I just think I want fairness is what I want, and I have a great sense of fairness, and I think that Cuomo was very stupid if he did any of these things because he was in a position of power, and he should know it would come back to bite him in the ass. And if he didn't know it was going to come back to bite him in the ass, he was very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Naive.
Not naive. I think he was very. He felt he could get away with it.
Self-centered.
You know, that he was the one that could get away with it. Yeah. I think he had certain.
You notice most of the people that we talk about have power, are famous, or whatever.
Yeah.
If this was happening to you or me walking down the street, it probably would never be brought up. You know, what you're talking about, the art of pursuit, as we call it, that's not an issue.
Yeah.
In most cases. But most of the time now we're talking about people of power, people of fame, people
Public
of
figures.
You know, yeah, that are noted, and that's where the issue is. People that are known, and that's where the difference is in most cases.
I think you could say I was fairly famous in San Francisco.
Sure, and if this happened to you, and that time, if this type of environment happened back in the 80s, you'd have been screwed.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. The story you told about the trip over to Italy, you'd have been done.
But what do you mean trip over to Italy?
Was it to Italy or wherever? You know, when you had your, with Lori and all that.
With Lori, yeah.
You wouldn't be here today.
Well, I think I would be here because
long gone has been.
Lori would be decent enough not to lie about what went on. Okay, I worry about. I'll tell you what I worry about is the woman that would come along and lie about that something.
Correct.
And I think that does happen.
Fight that you would have to go through to get out of it.
Well, that men today are disbelieved before they're believed, and women are believed before they're disbelieved. And
because of the history.
Because of the history. And that doesn't make it right.
No.
I mean, that makes...
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, but there is a bad history as well.
Yeah, but it does put a man at a bad disadvantage.
It does. It does.
You know,
but you know, you also got to understand that there are some idiots out there that screwed up for us, like Weinstein. And,
of course. He made
those kind of people fucked up the history for people like us.
He made us all look bad. Yes, Tony.
You know what I was going to say? I was thinking about the Cuomo situation, right?
Uh-huh.
You know what? I mean, I think he is. He's slimy. I think
he's
so.
a bully.
But here's what I don't get though, which I wish they would have did. Don't you wish they would have came forward one of these people when it happened or a few? You know what I'm saying? Why wait so long? It wasn't like they went to bed or anything.
I don't know when these things took place, to be honest with you. So I can't.
Okay. But I mean, let's say it was a few years ago. I mean, it wasn't like Weinstein where he actually took him to bed. I'm not saying I'm excusing what Cuomo did, but being the fact that it wasn't on that level, I guess it's not for what they're saying. don't you think one of them could have came forward to say, "Listen, I felt inappropriate behavior," and took it to somebody?
I'm not, and please.
Como people aren't that old, are they? Those women aren't that old,
they
so
aren't
they
that old.
couldn't have been that long ago.
Wasn't. But let me bring something up here, and I'm not defending Harvey Weinstein. I think the man, when I first heard of his behavior before they ever arrested him for it, you know, because it was all over Hollywood, everybody knew it.
Sure.
But the fact is that because he was Harvey Weinstein, he got it worse than if it were Tony Magno.
Me?
Okay,
Yes.
you know, they would probably Tony Magno. They would say,
That's
"Bad boy, slap on the wrist."
of course.
But and you know, look how they've ruined Woody Allen's career over just false assertions.
Yeah,
You know,
I can't see
there's
that.
no proof that any of those things took place, any of that ever took place, and yet, you know, the man has a hard time finding financing for his movies and actors to be in them.
Can I ask you a question, Alex? You don't mind me asking this? Being the fact that you were in the spotlight, doing your radio, wouldn't you have been scared? Like, who can you be friends with? Like, wouldn't you always be afraid
I'll
of?
tell you, I would be very careful about dating now. I really would.
Would you even want to go out of the house? Like, would you have to say, like, even meeting anybody, like friends, even not even
if
like,
it were today,
like, who do you trust?
if it
It
were
was
back,
different in those days.
but
I mean,
if
it's
it
different.
were if it were today and I was in the same position, show business wise,
Totally.
I wouldn't even date. I don't know what I jerk off a lot. I'll tell you.
And you'd probably be afraid,
safer.
of who do you even trust, though? They just, you don't even know what, what I'm saying? Even as a friend, like, it's like, you wouldn't even know what to do, probably. Like, how do you filter through, like,
Well,
so many people?
You just don't know. You got to be careful about the person you're going out with. I mean, it becomes very paranoid.
I would imagine you had to be like, oh, God, like, you'd probably be on edge all the time, like eggshells, to do anything now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I don't think I would be.
It's for you and I, Tony. It would be totally different from if Alex was set us back for 30 years and Alex in that situation, it'd be totally different.
Well, like the
We
girl,
could go out with just about anybody. Alex would have to watch his ass like.
Well, like
you know.
the girl,
Tony,
Tony, let me talk here. What I said last night about this girl who told her father that I'd gotten her pregnant. When she got pregnant, and it turned out that she didn't. Her father finally phoned me up again to apologize because it turned out that when confronted with, well, who got you pregnant, the first thing she thought of was the guy she listened to in the morning. Well, I mean, you're subject to that kind of thing, but today, if you're subject to it, you're guilty automatically. I've got to somehow get a lawyer.
You have to fight your way out of it.
That's right.
At your expense.
That's right.
At your expense.
That's right. And I've known a couple of women. I always said to myself, have I ever done anything that would get me in trouble today? And I thought about it, and I said, yeah, probably, because I had a couple of women I knew who were batshit nuts, okay, who, to get even with me, would accuse me of something. That was always a possibility. Today, I don't think I'd be dating. I think I would go out and get married and stay.
Look at all the
way.
roadies, and the crazy women that used to follow all the bands and everything else and screw them.
Yeah.
That stuff happened all the time back then, and now you think these guys would let that happen all the time? I don't know.
I seriously doubt it. Anyway, hey, it's yes, Alan, quickly.
I just wanted to bring up something you were talking about with Bobby Slate and the thing where you stuck your foot into the thing and they x-rayed it.
Yeah, yeah.
They stopped using those because they were so shoddily put together that people, not your foot, but just people in general, were dying of cancer.
Walking by the machine, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The people in the shoe store salesmen were dying at 35 years old.
They were in Tom McCann shoe stores. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. Of course, Tony, always great to have you here. Alan, appreciate it. And Brian, thank you very much tonight. And also that ventriloquist dummy that sits on your lap occasionally that really isn't a cute-looking little girl, but just a great-looking dummy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, she's adorable. You are so lucky. Anyway, everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the Citizens Panel. They're out of here. So am I. We'll be back again tomorrow night. Same time. Same station in life. Yeah. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. Okay? And by the way, please, if you haven't done it already, just for yourself and for everybody around you, go get vaccinated. It's only a prick.